Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary. It's going to be a 2v2 game on the map Turtle Rock. Double human versus double orc. And it's going to be me and Steph doing the double TC strategy. Her build order is going to be actually quite bad for the strategy. It's been a while since she's done this and really played ladder all that much as well. So, I guess forgivable, but it's pretty sort of common that that knowledge that you can't really delay the altar quite as much as she does, unless you're going for a tavern hero, in which case it is less important because you don't have to wait for the hero to construct. It just trains instantly whenever the tavern is available, when it's available at the tavern. But they're going to be pinging to creep these. It's an interesting strategy. It's really greedy. I think if they execute it well, it could be pretty dangerous depending on how lazy we are with scouting. But it's also, these are very strong camps, which is going to be very exploitable if we happen to harass, which we are going to do. Now, we are going to skip tier 1, so they do sort of luck out that we don't have a ton of stuff to punish them early game except our heroes. But the problem for them is the heroes, if we creepjack them, is the heroes alone are going to be quite dangerous, right? So that's what's going to happen. This guy's going to go Archmage footies. The other guy's going to go MK footies to start. His build looks questionable. Maybe it's okay. My build order. The main thing, this guy, Militia is way too early. He cast Water Elemental way too late. So he's going to have to sit here, and he's going to lure the camp. Luring the camp's okay, but you literally have Militia waiting. And now you have Militia pulling back. They're literally like, 20% of their time are left where they're actually attacking. That's terrible. You can't really afford to do that. So, and he's going to lose this one. I didn't kill it with Shockwave to his fortune, but he still loses it all the same. This guy's going to lose a fair bit as well because he went Thunderclap and he just didn't have that many footies. And again, the MK doesn't really, he doesn't summon anything, so tanking is not the great. He tanks, as a strength hero can tank, but that thing does chaos damage, and it does it by the boatload, so you can just look 39 to 46, fast attack, chaos damage. So I need to use this clarity potion. I'm not really sure what I'm waiting for. There it goes. Oh, keep the distance. Keep the distance. I forget how much time it takes for clarity. Oh, she didn't pick one up. What are you doing? Her voodoo line is really late. So yeah, this guy's base is open on this side and up here and over here. So there's 3 sort of spots we can go in and out of. So there's no way he potentially, if he just microed correctly, he could have plugged that gap with a farm or something, but he didn't. He tries to plug his Archmage in here, but it's like there's a hole right here, so I don't know what he's, the Archmage has full health, so he doesn't really need to be worried about the Archmage. It almost looked like he was trying to block us in there, but there's holes, entrances, and exits to the other side of the base. He blocks this one. He's going to try to build a farm. He's trying. He just doesn't have quite the execution. This guy's going to bolt, and he's going to Thunderclap. I guess he just did that so I wouldn't TP, I guess. But, if I TP with, 10 health, I got heal salves, I guess it makes some sense. But, and it does get him a little bit, gets him 2.5, right? But using that Thunderclap, instead of just letting me TP or die, I think there's a chance I just die anyway. Like, maybe just the stun was enough to kill me before I unstunned. But, anyways, that 90 mana Thunderclap means he only has 1 more bolt. He can't really afford to, and they need coordination to get this surround kill, and they're just not going to have it, right? The teal is running up here with these footies. They're not going to sink the round, and it's a hero, so he's going to, and the TC got a movement speed buff, just like the MK did. A lot of the slower heroes did, even though the TC gets a movement speed aura. At level 1, he doesn't have that, so. But anyways, the move speed buff applies, so he starts with a faster move speed, like a little bit closer to like the Archmage move speed. And the and the DK and the Demon Hunter and the Blade Master. So it sort of closed the gap between those those heroes. And the slower ones. But anyways, this guy's gonna finally clear this up. And I thought, seeing that guy level 2, I was like, I checked his items, he didn't have a consumable, which was kind of curious. And he did have a mechanical sheep, which was also pretty curious. But I just assumed that since this guy was creeping the gold mine like he did immediately, that this guy probably did the same thing based on the timings. And I was correct, but he didn't try to expand it. And there was a chance if I just immediately ran right to this instead, there was a shot of me shockwave killing a level 7. It didn't happen. It's whatever, but like that would have been real smooth. And this guy's just having a night. Teal's just having a nightmare game. Honestly, Purple's not having a great game either. He got his creep done sort of unharassed, but he did lose workers in the process. And his army is looking rather feeble. Same with Teal's, honestly. Now he's getting a blacksmith, and the other guy is almost tier 2. It's a little bit interesting that the Archmage player will be the one to go blacksmith, since he, if they're going to have a player go casters, you'd think it'd be the one that had the Brilliant Sword, but it is what it is. It looked like I guess he wanted to stay tier 1 longer because he lost a bunch of workers and he wants to expand. Yeah, that makes sense, I guess, but I still think that the player with the MK maybe should have been the one to expo. I mean, he was unharassed anyway, so his was open much earlier, so him expanding and going into rifles makes a lot more sense to me, but that's just me. So anyways, though, I'm going to creep. I use the demos to creep. I didn't show you. For the first volley, I'm going to put the demos on the Ogre Warriors before they before they aggro, right? So all the shots can basically land and connect, because they're very slow lobbing shots. They can be avoided if the creeps are like melee and they're running, right? So I want to make sure that volley hits. Alternatively, I could go for the ranged units first, but hitting the melee ones first and then tanking with like the TC makes a lot of sense. And then after that first volley, put the demos on the trolls, because they're ranged and they're just going to be standing in a single spot, so they're much less likely to dodge the shots. So now I show up to this guy's expo with 4 demolishers with 1 attack upgrade and some peons, and this is sort of a wrinkle that I've thought was a good idea. Steph actually said something about it. I thought about it before, but it's like if you're going all the way to a main base, a lot of times it's a little bit bold to bring like a whole bunch of peons. But this map's a little bit more compact, and I was creeping with the demos. I was like, being able to repair can convert your resources very quickly into healing for the demolishers, right? So they can, they're not amazing tanks, but it's like if I can just repair them instead of having to just run around with like, even though this one's pretty damaged, repair them to full instead of actually having to run around with them just damaged and not being able to heal salve or something. It's pretty rough. And I see Teal and I'm like, he's not expanded yet, so these towers are basically just a sunk cost. So now I'm like deciding what I want to do, and Steph's over here creeping. I was like, oh, grab a heal scroll, use it, and then just harass this guy. She's got this guy up here distracted. He doesn't really have a ton of anti-air, but her hero is quite damaged, right? So yeah, I'm gonna meet up with her, grab a mana potion and a heal potion and a speed scroll, and then we're going to creep this, right? This isn't really an important thing for us to creep, to be honest. It was just, we're here together. I was like, let's just creep it. We're both already 3. So now I see that Purple is here. He sort of crept one of the 3 creeps. And then I'm like, okay, it doesn't look like this guy's got any anti-air. Does she have Inventive Spears? Oh, nice. Inventive Spears is good. She got that upgrade quite quick. We're 10 minutes in. I'm nowhere near tier 3, actually. Probably should have prioritized getting it, but I don't know. Tiny Great Hall can be sort of a key part of the strategy, but the early game and the mid game went so well, I don't think we really need to expand. And then this guy is going to severely underestimate the danger of this particular strategy. So he's going to run here. The one thing is he's got an intelligence here, the Archmage. So not a lot of health on this bad boy. And it's a ranged hero. So, and then boom, Shockwave level 2, the demos, they hit really hard in sort of slow volleys, right? They don't attack very fast. Their DPS is sort of, it's just okay in a lot of circumstances, right? Especially for the cost of 4 food or whatever. They don't, it doesn't seem that impressive against certain things, right? But if you got an Archmage just sitting there at like half health and you watch like a full volley of Demolishers and level 2 Shockwave hit it, you're going to understand why the strategy can be a little bit of a surprising. And same with the rifles, right? The rifles are ranged, so it's like, what is he really going to do here? And yeah, all these peasants are pretty much dead. I gave her that. She was like, oh, you have any healing or something? I wasn't paying super close attention. She was nowhere near really needing to use that. But I thought there might have been like some other units or something attacking. So I was like, ah. So I used it and threw a healing salve on her hero to sort of be running while she was invincible, which you can in fact do, which is nice. Same with like a replenishment potion or something. So anyways, we're going to bust the main base, and now we're next going to bust the altar, and the game is over, right? I mean, we had so much DPS. This army is just a mass DPS. Now, normally, what we suggest, I don't remember if we settled on 3 or 4 Wind Riders. I think 4 probably, but possibly only 3. Because we don't, if you go too hard into Wind Riders, very frequently they're just very exploitable as a unit. So if the enemy manages to get something that is basically a hard counter, you don't want to be the Wind Riders are very costly, right? So you don't want to be too heavily invested into something that's easily countered and be very costly. So Raiders are much cheaper, Bat Riders are much cheaper. Obviously they do different things. Kodo Beast, much cheaper, right? They obviously all that stuff does different stuff, different functions, right? but yeah, it's mainly like if they're going to go into some kind of hard anti-air counter, you want to be switching into something that is not really countered by that, depending on what the anti-air is. If it's flying machines, basically just about anything else. Bat Riders can do okay against them because it can unstable concoction, and then everything else is either on the ground, right? Raiders, Headhunters, and meat wagons, or sorry, not meat wagons, demolishers. So yeah, with that in mind, you don't. If they commit so many resources, assuming you're just hard massing Wind Riders, and then you stop at 3, you do your creeping, and then you have a ground-based army. What do they have? Do they have Bat Riders? Well, you've got a towered main, your ally has a towered main, you have burrows, you have your own Bat Riders probably, and demos, right? It's like, Bat Riders aren't really good against any of that stuff. They're bad against towers or not very good against burrows. They are very, it's sort of a push against other bats. It's like who connects first, but if you got a bunch and the other player's only running around like 2 or 3, you can split stuff for sure, but like all they got to do is land that one nice one, and then it's like they built small numbers of bats. So it's like, what does your sort of what does your source say about this this deal or whatever? But anyways, it's going to sort of be revealed. Maybe some different stuff about potential siblings, but anyways, maybe not siblings, but anyways, this game was pretty funny. I'll tab through or I'll look through the tabs, just sort of give people an idea. The game was pretty short. The fact that we didn't make tier 1 makes the fact that we were 24 and 37 unit kills. We did creep. We probably caught. Did we catch them in creeps? I don't. They got 2 of those big green middle camps, or not green, gold mines. Sort of think. Was it? I don't remember honestly, but try to think back if I certain timings or whatever. But anyways, that like I said, that the fact that we didn't have tier 1 and we were able to sort of keep pace and actually out level them is pretty impressive. One guy went 2 heroes, but I don't think that really matters. He maybe gets level 4 MK, maybe, I don't know. The other guy was level 2 Archmage. So yeah, Try Hero is one of the things that is potentially pretty good against this strategy. It's just that you got to survive to that point and keep everything else sort of on pace, right? You don't want the opponent who's undead getting an expo up, right? Or you going for an expo and getting punished for it too much. Some punishment is okay, right? It's like you can't play perfectly, but yeah, after certain things happen, you need to make certain sort of more cautious decisions. Either that, or you just go full the other direction and go as crazy and reckless. So I can't really expect. Don't really know what to expect. Keeps things exciting. But yeah, let's look at the resource tab. We probably were all fairly. Well, no, we probably pulled away because 69, 69. Yeah, double 69. Of course, double 69. Oh, but anyways, yeah, they were at 68 and 6200. So there was something. What? Was that a different replay? Oh, there was a replay where we both had 69 unit kills or something. That's pretty funny. But anyways, it's a little bit of childish. But anyways, this game was pretty funny. These guys were, based on their strategy, I thought they might have been okay, or sort of sweaty, but they just didn't have the micro to go with the odd strategies. Which again, it's it's not a judgment thing. It's like it's just sort of stating facts. There's like people that do trolley strats, there are people that do trolley strats to lose, and there's ones that don't really care, and there's ones that still want to win conventionally by the conventional stuff. So so yeah, pretty encouraging if they're still in the mix. But yeah, the TC shotgun strategy, it's a lot of times it's either really fun. I mean, even in some of the losses, it's okay. I really don't like losing, so I don't think I don't think a lot of people really do, but yeah, I meant to sort of the idea that certain certain pictures and stuff. But yeah, the so but yeah, that's gonna be the end of this commentary. Pretty fun strat. Like I said, that they definitely could use some work on the timings early, and it's also a very tight strategy, right? It's not that you have to play like out of your mind, right? But you need to be sort of on the ball and focused with timings and stuff because it's all about timings, right? Your early game is basically going to be running around with a non-ranged hero that has a big AOE mana, a big mana cost AOE ability, but it's a strength hero, right? No summons, all this stuff, no range poking and kiting and stuff like that. You're really in the mix there. But Shockwave is pretty dangerous. Also, that cloak combines pretty well with the Mud Golem. But yeah, it's a fun strategy. Definitely has some limitations, and you definitely need to be paying attention, right? It's like it might seem simplistic. Oh, you got a bunch of demos. What are you gonna do with that? Well, you want to creep. You want to squeeze in some creeps if you're not level 3, if it would be feasible. And then there's other people in sort of restraints. No, but yeah, I assume she must read it.